Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, thank you so much for checking me out. Today, I wanted to go over arpeggios, which are basically just notes of a chord played one at a time. There's a few simple shapes to go over, and I'm going to show them to you today. So let's get into it. Okay, so like I was saying in the intro, today I wanted to show you arpeggios, which I'm going to show you 3-note triads, which make major chords, minor chords, and we'll do a little bit of diminished today. So without wasting any time, let's get straight into it. We're going to do this out of the key of D major today. I find this an easy one, and also for all you Red Hot Chili Peppers Under the Bridge learners, this is the first chord right out of that song, out of the intro. So here we go. Your major chord arpeggio shape, we're going to do something that looks very similar to a C chord shape, but we're going to move it up to our D note root, which is our 5th fret A string. And then our index finger comes over to kind of bar to make it a D chord. Okay? We don't have to do the whole bar here. We're only going to be worried about a few notes off the bottom, but our shape looks like this. Okay, one more time. We're starting here the 5th fret on our pinky with our pinky, 5th fret, 4th fret on the D string, 2nd fret on the G string, and that's your D major triad. And then we're going to continue it to this familiar cowboy chord, D chord shape. Then we're going to come up here to grab that guy as well. Okay, so we're outlining a C chord shape, also a D chord shape, because C and D share what I like to call a wall, which you can kind of visualize with your index finger bar here. So that's your major chord shape. Kind of looks like a C chord shape off our A string root. If we were to make this a minor arpeggio now, it would look like this. And I'm doing E minor arpeggio here, E minor chord. So that's your 3-note triad right there. 7th fret A string, 5th fret D string, 4th fret G string. And just like the other one, we go into our... So this one's a little bit more of a stretch. 5th fret on our B string, stretching out to our minor 3rd, the 3rd fret of the high E string, and then coming up to the 7th fret high E string. So there's a triad, arpeggio, triad arpeggio, triad arpeggio, triad arpeggio. So it's just the same 3 notes. Oh, sorry. It's just the same 3 notes. Just repeated. So arpeggios really are just the letters of our licks, of our chords. If you want to think of chords as words and arpeggios as letters, then that is what it is. We are using these letters to spell words. In the case of the first shape, we're spelling D major chord. The listener will hear D chord when they hear those 3 notes, those arpeggios. It's the same exact thing, everybody. So if you've ever ran into like and this is a bit of an aside tangent here, but I feel like it relates. If you've had a D chord or any sort of chord, and you've had a finger picking song, maybe a folk song, when you're finger picking, doing a finger style kind of chord, finger style type of song, what you're really doing is arpeggiating the chord. So don't let these Italian big fancy words scare you away from learning. All this is the vocabulary of the musical language. Don't be afraid of a little bit of theory, a little bit of vocabulary. Never hurt anybody, I promise. We're still being creative. We're still being unique. So that's what really matters at the end of the day. We're expressing ourselves as individuals to our own unique story. So back to it. Minor arpeggio. So E minor here. And then if we're following a chord scale here, which you can find in one of my earliest lessons right here, Essential Chord Knowledge, we will go through the chord scale, which in this case, in the key of D, our chords are going to be as such. We have a D major, E minor is our second, F sharp minor is our third, G is our fourth, A is our fifth, B minor is our sixth, relative minor. We have a C sharp diminished chord, and that brings us back home to D. If you don't know how I figured out these chords or how you could apply this to other keys, please follow some of my previous lessons here, or maybe a good time to say, subscribe down below. I do a lot of lessons where I go over basic chord theory and things to get songwriters going and to get you improvising as soon as possible. So we're going D major to E minor. That's the two shapes we've learned so far. D, E, F sharp minor. So if we're to continue it here, we have our D major arpeggio shape, which I'm playing up and down. If I wanted now F sharp minor, well, I know my minor shape because I just played E minor. If I just move this whole shape up 2 frets, focusing on what the root is under my pinky, which is F sharp, and I do that shape, well, I've made a F sharp minor arpeggio. So D major, E minor, and now F sharp minor. Take this E minor shape, move the whole minor arpeggio shape up, and there you are. And then brings us to our next chord, which is now a major chord. We go back to our major shape, looking for a G off of our A string. And once again, for reference, this is a C chord shape going into a D chord shape on the bottom. So G, A, so on and so forth. I think you see how this goes. There's a major shape and a minor shape, which would leave us with just one shape left inside of our diatonic kind of chord scale. So for this key, we're in D, so our diminished chord would be a C sharp minor, or sorry, a C sharp diminished. So we're going to find, I'm going to use this C sharp over here. This is the 16th fret on the A string. And a diminished chord is just a stack of minor thirds. So it looks a lot like the beginning of our minor shape. But instead of, which would just make it a minor arpeggio, we take the fifth flatten it. Then we just do the same thing on the bottom. And that's our diminished arpeggio shape. So one more time, 16th fret, 14th fret, 12th fret, and then 12th fret, 14th fret, 15th fret up on the high E string. Okay, and that would just bring us a half step away from our home, which is D major. Okay, so I'll recap this one more time. Put it in a little chord context here. We'll play our D major chord scale, D, E minor, F sharp minor, G, so on and so forth. And I'll just play the associated arpeggios with it, and you can hear how this operates, hear how they match up. And then I'll give you another example of just how you would use this, maybe improvising over a jam, something like that. Okay, so just applied to the chords, we're going to sound like this. D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A major, B minor, C sharp diminished, D major, E minor shape, F sharp minor, G major, A major, B minor, C sharp diminished, D major. Okay, so yeah, that's a fun little exercise just to run through the arpeggios. A real song wouldn't just run up and down the chord scale diatonically or play every chord in that. But, you know, this is for practice. This is just how we woodshed these things and how we improve. Okay, so to put this in a song context here, let me pick D, G, and A. Okay, I'll do a 1-4-5. I'll do a 1-4-5, which is a real standard rock blues progression here. And then you can hear how these arpeggios kind of work. You would hear this in like a lot of metal, maybe like neoclassical vibes, but trust me, you hear this all over the place. All your favorite solos, some that just come to mind right now is Hotel California, sounds a little more tied to the chords, is using arpeggios. Jazz is definitely doing this more in depth. Chords are a lot more voiced. I digress. Okay, so to put this in a song context here, we're going to use the chords D, G, and A, all major chords, and it's going to look something like this. G, A, okay, so I was just literally playing the arpeggios over the chords. You can phrase these things in a way that make them more musical and not just exercise-based. So let me give you a little example of that. So D, G, and A major are our chords. We're doing a 1-4-5 out of D, blues progression, rock progression. So we can do a little bit of pentatonic and a little bit of arpeggios, and that blend, mwah, chef's kiss. Let's see, let's get it. Here we go. Arpeggios. All right, let's start adding some licks. Okay, so a little bit of arpeggios, a little bit of riffing, a little bit of pentatonic. Put that all together and you're jamming, my friend. You're writing songs, you're coming up with creative ideas. These are just tools inside your belt. So please utilize these across the keys. Remember, it's just 3 shapes, nothing too complicated. There's obviously arpeggios with more than 3 notes that get into more sophisticated territory when you get into jazz and maybe some blues spice, you want to add something. But these triad arpeggios will take you very, very far. And I hope you found the video very informative and enjoyable today. Maybe a little bit entertaining. But you know what? That outro guy, I don't know about him. He just kind of like pops in and out as he sees fit. But you know what? Oh, hey. Well, I guess you made it to the outro, so thank you so much for checking out the video today. And if you found any of this informational, educational, or entertaining, please, I encourage you to hit like down below, subscribe, and follow this journey going on here in the future. We're a new channel here, still growing, so I appreciate you all checking me out, and we'll see you next time.